and clear historical overview of the Liberty wheat pennies from the years 1926, 1946, 1948, and 19. Profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. While the Philadelphia version is the most common, the 1926 wheat penny is exceptionally hard to find in high grades, making it one of the key semi-keys of the entire Lincoln series. Not all 1926 pennies are worth more than a cent, but a perfectly preserved, high-grade example from the San Francisco Mint, especially with original red luster, is so rare that it can fetch hundreds of thousands to over $1 million at auction. The 1926 penny was minted in fewer numbers, and most entered circulation immediately. Harsh use and poor storage meant that almost none were saved in pristine condition. Fewer than 10 examples exist in MS65 red gem mint state. Only a handful are known in MS66 red, the highest grade ever assigned. Collectors pay astronomical prices for these coins, often battling in elite auctions for a chance to own one. Lincoln cents are copper, and copper oxidizes over time. Most common, oxidized copper color. Some original mint color remains. A 1926 penny in full red is incredibly rare. One MS66 red 1926 penny was privately sold for over $150,000, and numismatists believe the right beer would pay over $1 million. For a flawless example, collectors aiming for a complete set of Lincoln wheat cents must have the 1926. Thus, its scarcity in high grades places it among the top 10 key dates, the most difficult coins to complete in red mint state. Its historical placement between World War I and the Great Depression adds to its mystique. While the 1926 wheat penny is valuable in pristine condition, even more excitement surrounds rarers such as double die obverse, though extremely rare for this date. Die cracks and cuds, repunched mint marks RPM. Each of these can enhance the value, especially when authenticated by PCGS or NGC. Over the decades, the most pristine 1926 cents have made headlines. Private collectors have reportedly offered $750,000 or more for MS66 candidates. Experts believe if a perfect MS67 or D example were found and certified, it could break $1 million. Even more common grades like BF Very Fine or XF Extra Fine command $30 to $100, and circulated examples can range from $500 to $10,000, depending on the color and grade. With values this high, authentication is critical. Top-tier coins should be graded and encapsulated by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company, verified for mint origin, strike quality, and color, protected from damage to preserve market value. Buyers and sellers alike depend on these certifications to ensure 1927 wheat penny so valuable. How can a coin worth 1 cent become a highly sought-after piece of American numismatic history? The 1927 were coming home to parades, families, and promises of peace, but rationing was still fresh, and resources were tight. In this environment, the U.S. Mint resumed full coin production, including the iconic Lincoln wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909. The 1946 penny was the first in years to return to traditional copper, as the wartime steel cents of 1943 and zinc-plated issues of 1944 and 1945 had come to an end. The result was a coin that represented a return to normalcy and, for collectors, the beginning of something more. The Liberty wheat penny design is simple yet iconic, and it remained unchanged from 1909 to 1958, though none are rare by mintage alone. Value comes from something far more elusive: preservation, strike quality, and errors. This composition returned in 1946 after wartime changes. Unlike the steel pennies of 1943, the 1946 cent was once again warm and reddish-brown, a return to normal in both feel and form. Most 1946 wheat pennies are worth 1 to 5 cents in circulated condition, but a small number are worth hundreds, even thousands of US dollars. Only a few dozen examples in the world have been graded this high, and when collectors fight over these top specimens, prices soar. Minting errors can transform a common coin into a numismatic marvel. For 1946, some of the most valuable errors include doubled die obverse DDO. Prices range from $100 to $2,000, depending on severity and condition. If the design is shifted significantly, it can be worth $150 to $500 plus a chunk missing from the rim can boost value to $200, $800. especially seen on 19 or 1946. As pennies 1946 wheat penny graded MS67. Brown may sell for $300. The same coin in MS67. Red could command over $5,000. The color matters, and it matters a lot. 1946 SMS or unique trait can be worth real money, though it's not one of the key dates in the series. The 1946 Liberty wheat penny represents more than face value. It marks the return to post-war, normal-sized continuation of the beloved wheat cent tradition. A turning point between wartime scare carries the legacy of the United States economic recovery and the dawn of a new era. To understand its importance, we must first look back to the wheat penny series, which began in 1909 under the direction of President Theodore Roosevelt. He commissioned sculptor Victor David Brenner to redesign the penny. Brenner's design honored Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the For.you.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and to wheat stalks on the reverse, representing prosperity. By 1950, the wheat penny had been circulating for over 40 years. The United States was undergoing immense transformation. The post-war baby boom was in full swing, and the economy was thriving. Millions of pennies were produced to meet the needs of a growing population. There were 3 mints producing the 1950 wheat penny. Although these numbers seem high, it's the quality and condition of the coin, and the presence of any error that greatly influence its collector value today. The design of the 1950 penny is timeless. On the obverse, we see a bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. The words "In God We Trust" arc above his head. Liberty is positioned on the left, and the date 1950 lies on the right. If minted in Denver or San Francisco, a small D or S will appear just below the date. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. Now let's talk about errors and varieties, which can greatly increase a coin's worth. One of the most sought-after error types is the double die outverse. Though rare for 1950, some coins exhibit noticeable doubling in the inscriptions, especially around Liberty and the date. These are extremely valuable. Pristine 1950 wheat penny in mint state, MS65 or higher, especially with a red road designation, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the mint and any errors. For example, a 1950s penny graded MS67 road sold for over $7,000 at auction. The historical backdrop also adds to its charm. In 1950, the Korean War had just begun. The Cold War tensions were rising. Americans were investing in infrastructure, education, and industry. It was a year of contrast of both hope and fear. The penny in your pocket reflected not just economic exchange, but cultural transition. Collectors today often seek out the 1950 Liberty wheat penny not only for its potential value but for its nostalgic connection to mid-century America. It represents a time when pennies could still buy a piece of candy or a gumball. It was the currency of soda fountains, drive-ins, and jukeboxes. Over the decades, many of these pennies have disappeared from circulation, either worn out or hoarded by collectors. The 1966 Jefferson nickel has sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The obverse shows Thomas Jefferson facing left, along the rim. In God We Trust. The word Liberty and the date, 1966. On the reverse stands Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. Above it, E pluribus unum beneath United States of America and 5 cents. The coin is 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5 grams with a plain edge and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. At first glance, nothing seems remarkable, but look deeper and the value becomes clear. 1966 was part of a strange period in U.S. mint history. From 1965 to 1967, the U.S. government temporarily eliminated mint marks from coins. This was to discourage the hoarding of coins from specific mints during a national coin shortage. So, whether the coin was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, there's no way to tell from the coin itself. This decision made all coins from those years appear more uniform, but it also created an environment where minor differences in strike quality or errors became even more valuable. The U.S. Mint struck over 156 million nickels in 1966. That's a big number. But most of those coins went into circulation, suffered wear, and were forgotten. Very few were saved in pristine, uncirculated condition. Even fewer were struck well enough to reveal full Design features, especially the steps of Monticello, which became the most important feature for collectors. If the steps of Monticello, those thin, horizontal lines at the base of the building, are struck clearly and without interruption, the coin qualifies for a full steps. If 66 Jefferson nickel with full steps can sell for $1 of rarity, demand is high, and supply is shockingly low. Even though mint marks were removed in 1966, errors still happen and collectors prize them. Some of the most valuable 1966 nickel errors include off-center strikes, coins struck away from the center. The more off-center, the rarer it becomes. Values range from $150 to $500 plus. Double-day errors, coins with doubling in the lettering or date. These are harder to find but can fetch $1,000 or more. Clipped blankets coins. Every error has its own market, and every verified mistake tells the story of a unique minting moment. Silver had just been removed from dimes and quarters, and the U.S. Mint's removal of mint marks made collecting less exciting. Nickels,